lot of things we as an industry struggle with, driver shortages, mechanic shortages, that can all be, in my opinion, solved with money. I think most things can be solved given enough money. There's no longer a driver
Of
shortage,
course.
right? I mean, if we were paying $500 an hour, there wouldn't be a driver shortage,
Sure.
but we can't afford to do that. And there's always been this pushback that I get when I talk about raising prices. And the first thing everybody says is, we can't do that. Our customers just won't. They won't tolerate it, right? It'll put us out of business because there's always going to be that guy,
Yep.
that one guy that's willing to do it for $600 a day, and we all kind of have to dumb down to his level,
Sure.
if you will. So, how have you kind of looked at your pricing strategy at DATCO, and then let's talk about kind of why that pricing strategy works in the public's eye.
Sure. So I definitely, think a lot about the guy who is going to price low. But a while ago, I kind of stopped worrying about what he was doing, and I more worried about, how I can protect my inventory. I think COVID has changed a lot of things, more things that we can count in the whole industry, but specific to pricing, it has really thinned the market. Nobody has drivers. There are companies that aren't here anymore. And fortunately, demand is starting to return in a really positive way. And what that's leading to is essentially a supply challenge. And so from where I sit, there are more people who want to ride buses right now than there are buses, and more specifically, drivers available. So for me, hourly and mileage aside, I think everyone gets so hung up on what those specific rates are as their cost, and then thinking about how much profit they want to make. And I think the opportunity that's really being missed is to protect our inventory, because we've all gotten those calls over the last 6 to 8 months of, my bus company just canceled on me, or the broker that I booked with doesn't have a bus available anymore. Can you please help me? I know you quoted me higher 4 months ago, but I really need your help now. We've all gotten those calls. And so I'm not necessarily advocating for waiting till the absolute last minute to sell your inventory. You don't want to have buses sitting in the yard on days where they need to be out. But I think there is a much higher ceiling to pricing than a lot of people in the industry recognize, that we could go a lot higher in terms of the minimum rates that we're protecting our pricing with. And yes, it's still important to get more for a trip that's 500 miles as opposed to 50, of course. But really protecting that inventory on your busiest days where you're going to sell out is just so important. It's not a badge of honor to be sold out 6 months in advance. If you're sold out 6 months in advance, you're not charging enough. And I think that's really the message that I would get out there to people, is that there's more opportunity to raise your prices than I think most people imagine right now.